So the article I chose was titled Arnold Brown, Defense Secretary in Carter Administration, Dies at 91. The source is the New York Times, and it talks about Arnold Brown and his life and career. Arnold Brown worked in the Carter administration from 1977 to 1981, and what he did was he was a researcher and largely in charge of most of the ballistic missiles, nuclear warheads, and bombs of the U.S. He had obstinance and linchpin in the sense that he was a very influential man in the Carter administration and held a lot of power and influence over how the U.S. went about dealing with foreign threats like Russia and working with allies to build up their defenses during the Cold War. And it's really interesting because he's described as a shy man, but has so much equity and would delineate and show everything that needs to be done through facts and he spoke very eloquently and because he was able to speak with a lot of fairness and facts in them, and speak so coherently, and he was able to work with all parties inside the U.S. and get them on the same page, and both the left and right were able to agree with him. So he was very useful in the sense that he was able to bring the country together and work together. And what I really thought well about this when reading this article was that a question would be, why do we form communities? And I think by including people like Arnold Brown in our communities, we surround ourselves with people who will lift us up and help us. They're not the flashiest people, they're not the most outgoing people, they're not the loudest people in the world, but if they're smart enough and they're fair enough and they think about things, they will help you in many ways, and a lot of people understand that. So we form communities to protect ourselves, to make ourselves feel safe, and we surround ourselves with people who we believe will do that, who will be able to provide us the life we want. Just as Mr. Brown was able to help President Carter in his quest for peace and safety during the Cold War. And Mr. Brown, he was able to help a lot of people, and as an individual, he was considered a genius as a child, and he graduated from college, I think, with more than a bachelor's degree, like almost a doctorate, at the age of 21. And he used his knowledge and his scientific knowledge to go out there into the community that is the U.S. and provide it. It talks about how at one point he was on the board and had a lot of power in the California Institute of Technology, and while in his time there, he was the founding people that let the first women scientists join that college. He set up dorms, he set aside rooms, and allowed women to go there for the first time in history. He also worked at another college, but he was able to use his power, influence, and knowledge to help his communities grow and progress, which is really great because as an individual, you need to participate in your country, you need to be with them through thick and thin, and he definitely did that. He was there during the Cold War as people were progressing and women were joining the workforce and getting an education, and just using his power for good to better the community and help the community feel safe and feel like they can form a community within one another because there are people strong enough to hold it up and support what they want in their beliefs.